Few people today have heard of Tom Burke, the tenor known as the Lancashire Caruso. But at his peak, he was singing at the Met in New York, La Scala in Milan, and at London's Covent Garden. This is a story as powerful and resonant today as it was back then. The opera world in the 1920s was much like the modern pop world, in which he was able to regard as friends the former world boxing champion Jack Dempsey, a young Noel Coward, and even the Prince of Wales. This is in stark contrast to his later life as a bar steward and even a bookies runner. What happened to Tom Burke? And does his demise teach us something about the pitfalls of success and celebrity? Perhaps. But let's not forget it was his great voice that singled him out and earned him fame throughout Britain and fortune for a while at least across the Atlantic. Even to this day, the people of his hometown Lee still talk of the Lancashire Caruso and the fascinating life he led. Burke, once described as having a voice of pure Italian flavor, mixed with the top stars of the day, even royalty, and in the space of just 20 years rose to the height of fame, wealth, and the favors of many beautiful women. But why would he end his days washed up and penniless? And why would he die in obscurity, far from his hometown? His life story reads like a dramatic opera script, a compelling journey from rags to riches, but then back to rags again. Born in Lee, Lancashire, he was discovered by a music teacher who heard him from his window singing to his fellow miners whilst walking home from the pit he worked in. He would find himself thrust into the glamorous celebrity lifestyle of 1920s Europe, but he is now largely forgotten. Dame Nellie Melba, arguably the era's greatest diva, had formidable authority, and after hearing Burke sing, insisted he appear as Rodolfo opposite her in a 1919 production of La Bohème at Covent Garden, a performance that earned him 4 encores. Puccini also heard Tom, and immediately extended his contract to sing 3 more of his works. Away from the opera circuit, his lyrical voice and vibrant personality endeared him to packed provincial theatres in Britain. Billed as the minstrel boy, he delighted audiences with his repertoire of sentimental Irish songs and popular Edwardian drawing room ballads. Following his appearance opposite Melba at Covent Garden, he made 14 records for the Columbia label. After seeing Burke perform, King George V decided he would like to meet the singer. It was a command, not a request. Tom's response: "Tell the old bugger to wait." Typical of Burke. It was an attitude carved into his character from childhood. Born and brought up in the Lancashire pit town of Lee, and the eldest of 9 children, like so many of his generation, poverty left an indelible scar. He was fully aware of his place in society and never forgot where he came from. His tough and self-destructive streak was always bubbling away below the surface. He quarreled with singers, agents, and impresarios, and even slated the very people who queued at Covent Garden to see him. "They are not music lovers," he sneered. "They go to the opera because it's the thing to do, rather like appearing at Royal Ascot." At his peak, he was offered £400 per night, the highest fee for a visiting artist to conquer America, and performed at the Met in New York. But a misjudged media campaign by his agent resulted in the tour becoming a huge PR disaster. He returned to England with his career in tatters, not to mention a gunshot wound inflicted by a New York gangster. His ever more frequent philandering and fast lifestyle, revolving around booze, broken promises, and attractive women, made him unreliable, and on many occasions he failed to turn up for singing engagements. As a result, he was shunned by agents and theatre managers and soon became an outcast. Worse was to follow. He lost £100,000 in the Wall Street crash, an enormous amount at the time. By 1934, he had lost his Mayfair flat, his butler and his Rolls-Royce, and was renting a tiny, threadbare room. The remainder of his life never again saw the glamour of those early years. Tom's early recordings are now rarities, crackling, scratchy remnants of the celluloid age. One of these is Puccini's Nessun Dorma. A rigorous test for even the most talented tenor, Tom's version would have pleased the composer. He's buried in the cemetery at Wallington, Surrey, and the inscription on his headstone reads, "I have never heard my music more beautifully sung. Puccini."